Good day, dear viewers and listeners. Welcome once again to another episode of my show, where we do a no insult, matured, honest, and balanced analysis of the trending public issues. Today, we turn our attention to a story carried by Channel 1 News Online, titled Galamsey Crisis Worsening Under Mahama Despite Claims of Progress, Minority. According to the report, the minority in parliament has accused the government of President John Mahama of failing to make any meaningful progress in the fight against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. They claim that despite assurances of reform and renewed enforcement, the situation on the ground tells a different story. Rivers still murky and lifeless, forests stripped bare, and communities still wrestling with the aftermath of environmental ruin. The minority alleges that under Mahama's leadership, the crisis has worsened. They cite growing encroachment, the destruction of river basins, and the continuing degradation of farmlands, all pointing, they say, to a lack of seriousness from government. Now that is the claim, but let's pause for a moment and reflect calmly and truthfully. Galamsey is not a new monster. It has haunted Ghana for decades, from the days of President Kufuor through Mills, Mahama, Akufo-Addo. This menace has danced from one regime to another, wearing a new face but causing the same pain. It poisons our rivers, kills our fish, eats our cocoa farms, and leaves behind the silent graves of wasted lands. This is not a political problem, it is a national tragedy. And so when the opposition stands today to throw stones, they must remember they too helped build this house of rot. Let's be frank, the opposition has no moral right to mount this high horse because it superintended much of the mess we see today. Under their rule, Galamsey was tolerated, often encouraged, and rarely punished. Excavators roamed free, forests fell quietly, and enforcement was timid. Their unwillingness to tackle the menace brutally and decisively when they had power was one of the main reasons they lost massively in the last general election. Ghanaians had grown tired of speeches and tired of seeing their rivers die. If only they knew, such statements from them today only annoy Ghanaians even more, because the people remember. They remember the silence, the compromises, the half-hearted operations, and the impunity that flourished under their watch. But that said, my dear friends, the current governments cannot hide behind the failures of yesterday to justify inaction today. Every government inherits challenges, but great governments confront them, not explain them away. If our rivers are still brown, if our forests are still bleeding, if our miners still dig with impunity, then the crisis remains ours, not the past administrations, not the future ones, but ours as a people. The truth is simple. Ghana has reached a point where talk no longer saves us. We need a brutal honesty and a united front. We need a coalition of conscience where chiefs, security agencies, politicians, journalists, and ordinary citizens draw one line in the sand and say enough. Because every day that Galamsey continues, we lose not only soil, we lose soul. My brothers and sisters, when a Ghanaian child in the village goes to fetch water and comes back with a bucket of mud, something dies inside that nation. When a farmer cannot grow cocoa on the land his grandfather tilled because the earth has been poisoned, something dies in our heritage. And when our leaders speak more about votes than about rivers, more about power than about posterity, then something begins to die in our collective spirit. We must remember that the land we destroy today does not belong to us alone. It belongs to those who came before us and to those yet to come. Our ancestors entrusted it to us not to plunder but to preserve. In Akan, we say, Omanu ya obuswa kesie. The nation is one big family. When one member poisons the river, the whole family suffers thirst. So let us stop the blame game and start the cleansing of our rivers, of our politics, and of our conscience. My dear viewers and listeners, Ghana is not poor. Ghana is simply bleeding from the wounds of her own neglect. We can heal, but only if we act, together, truthfully, and without hypocrisy. Let those in government show real results, not rhetoric, and let those in opposition show humility, not hypocrisy. The time for grand speeches is over. The time for moral courage has come. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again with my honest and balanced analysis of the next trending public topic.